Okay, students, so I thought that I would give you just a little bit more help with your flat key signatures. So use this as a correlation to the worksheet on flat key signatures if you're still struggling. You've got until Wednesday to get that turned in. So maybe you take one more stab at it, see if this helps. Okay, I was able to get into the school today and get a few more materials. So I've got something to kind of help us out. So hopefully you recognize this. This is Treble Clef staff, and I've got my letters. Every good boy does fine. The letters on the lines and the letters in the spaces, F-A-C-E. And I've got 3 flat key signature. Now, if you remember, we talked about the fact that the last flat is Fa. And so if we look at the last flat, it's this one right here in the A space. How do I know it's the A space? Because I did a cheat sheet and I wrote my letters in on the spaces. So if I know that that is Fa, then all I have to do is count down from Fa if I want to make this tricky. So if this is Fa in the space, that means that line is me. That space is Re, because we're walking down from Fa. Then that means that bottom line would be Do. That would be low Do. Now all I have to do now is know what letter is this bottom line. So I can either trace my finger over here to my Every Good Boy Does Fine and see that the last line is the E line. So this would be the key of E flat. Now, I told you that the last flat was Fa, but we also know that the second to last flat is Do. It usually ends up being high Do, but let's go ahead and do that. If this is the first flat, this is the second flat, that's the third flat. We can also say that this is the last flat. So that would mean that this one is the second to last flat. So that's Do. What space is that in? What letter is in that space? Well, if I know that my spaces are F-A-C-E, then I know that the second to last flat is Do, and it's in the E space, which means that this is the key of E flat. So that's how you figure out your flat key signatures based on whether you're looking at the second to last flat or the last flat. Now I'm going to add a couple more flats to this just so that you can see that this is the same rules it doesn't depend on what is written on there. You just you keep the same rules. So I'm going to add 2 more flats, and we're going to do this on this one. Okay, I've added 2 more flats to this, so that means this last flat is Fa. So you can work the hard way and count down from Fa. The line is Fa, that means the space is Me. This next line is Re, which means the space under the line would be low Do. But that's the harder rule to follow. Just follow the second to last flat is Do. So if this is the last flat, just back up 1 more, and it's this flat. And now you just have to figure out what letter name that flat is on. And if you go back over here, you can see that it's on the 4th line. So I'm gonna just trace my finger all the way back over. Every Good Boy Does Fine. It's on the 4th line. So then that means this is Do. So this means this is the key of D, because this second to last flat is on the D line. Okay, so this would be the key of D flat. So I hope that helps you figure that out a little bit more. I'm about to do one on sharps.